In this video, I will talk about the Logiverse paradigm that we're using to explain the origin of the universe. As mentioned in the previous video, in order to explain origin, we have to start with absolutely nothing, which means no energy, no time, no space, no matter, absolutely nothing. And so the question becomes, what does this absolute nothing have? And the Logiverse proposal is that this absolute nothing does have logic in it. So 2 plus 2 is still equals 4. And if 2 plus 2 is equals 4, then every single logical construct that one can create, they are also present in this state of absolute nothingness. And so the first postulate of Logiverse is that there exists an entity which we call the ultimate realm, and this ultimate realm has absolutely nothing in it. It has no physical properties, but it has every single conceivable logical system. And a logical system we define as a set of statements. So, for example, 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a set which has additional statements which define what 2 is and what 4 is and what equals is. So that is a logical system. And you can graphically represent this logical system in many different ways, in fact, in infinite number of ways. And so each one of those logical constructs or graphical representation of logical system are also called universe. And so 2 plus 2 equals 4 can be represented in infinite number of universes, and they form a zone. And so we call that 2 to E4 zone. And we also recognize that some logical systems are going to be self-consistent, whereas other logical systems have at least one statement which is inconsistent with others. So, for example, if we have a statement such as 2 plus 2 equals 3, then we are left with a statement that's contradictory to the other statements in this set. And so 2 plus 2 equals 3 would belong to a different world. We call that the imaginary world, whereas we would call the 2 plus 2 equals 4 as part of the real world. Now, this depends on our definition. So, for example, if we were to allow fractional numbers and if we were to round them off to the closest number, then 2.1 plus 2.1 equals 4.2, and so then 2 plus 2 equals 4 in that situation, but 1.6 plus 1.6 equals 3.2, and so that will then make 2 plus 2 equals 3 as the correct answer. And so in that situation, 2 plus 2 equals 3 belongs in the real world, and 2 plus 2 equals 4 belongs in the imaginary world. And so different logical systems can belong in a real world or imaginary world, and they can also move from one world to the other world. One representative example we use is the example of a game of chess. So a game of chess is a logical construct because it has a set of statements which are basically the rules of the game, and you have a graphical representation of that game. So there is a chessboard with the pieces of chess in that, placed in that chessboard. And so one can imagine is a chess zone which has every single configuration of chess pieces all put together in one zone or in the board of chess board. And so one would end up with a chess zone which has every conceivable collection of, not just collection, but every conceivable configuration of chess pieces. So when the game first starts, you have the original placement of chess pieces, And that's the only part which is in the real world. All other configurations of chess pieces are in what we would call the imaginary world. And what's unique about, or what's different about the game of chess compared to 2 plus 2 equals 4 is that it has an iterative function. It allows for movement of these chess pieces in each iteration of the game. And so this iterative function then leads to an evolution of the game. And so we call this type of a logical system as a part of the evolutionary terrain of the ultimate realm. And so chess is different that it is in the evolutionary terrain, whereas 2 plus 2 equals 4 is in the so-called non-evolutionary terrain, ultimate realm. The other aspect of this chess game is that when it is played without any players, then in each iteration you have multiple possibilities. Each pawn in iteration number 1, each pawn can move by one step with all possibilities, and other chess pieces such as a knight can also move in the first iteration. And so you have a superimposed universe's chess configuration, and that superimposed set of configuration forms a multiverse. So in each iteration, the multiverse is sort of evolving. In some cases, certain configurations are moving in the real world, whereas others are moving in the imaginary world. And so as the game progresses, that type of evolution of which universe is in the real world and which one is in the imaginary world also evolves continuously. Now, chess by itself, while it's a complex game, it's not complex enough to support a self-referential algorithm. And so our third postulate of Logiverse is that there is a certain set of logical systems and logical constructs which allow for the creation of a self-reflective algorithm, which is part of that very logical system itself. And then that self-reflective algorithm loops inward and analyzes and interprets that logical system that it belongs to, and the axioms of that logical system then becomes laws of nature for that consciousness algorithm. And so that's what ultimately leads to that transition from a purely logical system to a physical system. And so what Logiverse hypothesizes is that there is a subset of logical systems which are part of the evolutionary terrain, ultimate realm, and are also part of the real world, which have this logical algorithm and the consciousness algorithm. And all those universes belong to the so-called physical domain. And any logical system which does not have a consciousness algorithm belongs in the non-physical domain. And so what we are hypothesizing here is that our universe that we experience is a logical system in the physical domain, the evolutionary terrain, the ultimate realm. And one of the major goals for humanity then, if Logiverse hypothesis is proven, is that we need to define that axiom system that allows for the creation of the universe that we see around us. The other postulate of Logiverse is that there exists an axiom of selection, and this axiom of selection is critical for a consciousness algorithm to evolve. And so when you have a superimposed multiverse where you have all different possibilities. For example, in a chess superimposed multiverse where no player is playing the game, the pawn could be anywhere in the chessboard after a few rounds or a few iterations. And so you end up with a very fuzzy picture, and that fuzzy picture cannot be interpreted, and a consciousness algorithm cannot arise in that fuzzy picture unless consciousness algorithm can invoke the so-called axiom of selection, where you actually choose one possibility over the many possibilities that exist. And this axiom of selection in our universe was a passive axiom. It wasn't really used at all. It's like in a chess game, if you were to use an axiom such as a kangaroo can jump by 10 feet, that does not change the game of chess. And so a game of chess can have literally infinite number of other statements which will not change the game of chess. And so the axiom of selection is another one of those axioms that was present from the very beginning of the evolution of our universe, but over time, with the emergence of the consciousness algorithm, they were able to invoke this axiom of selection and were able to actually clarify the image of that universe in the process. And so we draw the analogy of axiom of selection is sort of like a chisel which chisels out a structure from a rock without specific features. And so that's a very important part of the paradigm of Logiverse. In the current Logiverse nomenclature, we're calling the axiom set that resulted in the origin and evolution of our universe as the principal zone axiom set. And our hope is that over time we will be able to find a detailed axiom set which explains all the observations and explains the current laws of nature. We have a preliminary axiom set which we call the tensile pixel model and the associated spring lattice model. And these axiom sets have the potential of explaining the laws of physics, such as quantum mechanics and relativity, and also potentially unifying them together. So in the next couple of videos, I will be explaining this axiom set and how it can be used to derive the laws of physics.